Last week at a couple of auctions, I was asked questions by buyers in relation to sort of standard terms of auction sale, and also they wanted to express their fear and trepidation in bidding and buying using the auction process. And it's probably something we hear quite a lot from buyers and also from owners in selling at auction. But let's address buyers in this video because we really want you to have the confidence to bid at auction. So let's address some of the fears. Let's talk about time frame, first of all. If 23, 28 days is not enough time to have done your due diligence, to do your research, and be prepared to bid at auction, I don't know how much time you're going to need as a buyer. The process allows you to do your research. You've hopefully seen as many properties as you can, been to a few auctions, so you're comfortable around where you see value in any individual property. Once you've addressed that interest level, then you can kind of dig a little deeper, those secondary levels of inquiry. You speak to a solicitor or conveyancer. Often they can review a contract, and often there's no charge attached to doing that. And see if there are any terms in there. But most auction contracts are standard. Settlement 6 weeks, deposit 10%, and a list of inclusions. Otherwise, you're just checking the contract to see if there's a mainline sewer underneath the property or any easements or any sort of covenants attached to the property. Other than that, auction contracts standard pretty much across the board. You can do your due diligence. Most agents, owners will provide you with a pest and building report for houses, and these reports are fine. They are information that's provided by an independent authority, and they have lots of caveats attached to them. So yes, they will point out little things, but they are there to give you the confidence in bidding that the house is not going to fall over, and that kind of all it is, a pest and building report. And also, if you're buying a unit or a strata complex, often strata reports are made available. But again, you've got time to do your due diligence, so be prepared. The cost factor that used to be an issue, I'm sorry, that's no longer an excuse. You can get this all done for limited cost, $50 for a pest and building. Conveyancer will analyse a contract for free. Cost is not an issue. So do your due diligence, be prepared. Talk to the decision makers in defining value and your budget, and realize that when you get to auction, your opinion of value is your opinion of value. Someone else's opinion may be higher, may be lower, and the owner's opinion may be higher or lower. But your job is to compete in a transparent way, knowing what other buyers are prepared to pay and making that sort of rational and somewhat emotional decision as to whether you're prepared to pay more. And what that does is allow you to have clarity, and also kind of stops you from overpaying, because if you are the highest bidder and you buy the property, you probably won the auction by, on average, my last bid is $4,500 at this stage. So you're only $5,000 above the rest of the market. You've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 other bidders buy, and you were the highest bidder. You haven't overpaid because you are the highest bidder and you bought the property. That clarity is an absolute treat. Some people think they haven't got enough time to make their decision. Well, you've had 4 weeks to come up with your opinion, define a strategy, and bid. Yes, an auctioneer is going to put pressure on you to bid. We want momentum, we want competition. But ultimately, if we're still within your purchasing range or below your value, there's no harm done in bidding. Ultimately, if you're not at the highest bidder, you're the underbidder. Get in front, get ahead. And once you get to your budget, pull up stumps. Done. If you do decide to go for one more bid, I promise you won't regret it, but it's your decision to find value. We want you to get caught up in the emotion. But if you've got a budget and you've got an opinion of value, the best tip is to stick to it. And there are no costs attached in registering, no cost attached to bidding. And there's plenty of upside in bidding and buying at auction. So we've got due diligence, be prepared. You set your value, you define value. Ultimately, you might get blown out of the water by other competition who see value in excess of you. It might be value, might be budget driven. There's lots of emotional reasons that define value. And that's why a price guide leading into an auction may seem miles away from the eventual sale price. That is the nature of the beast. But ultimately, some auctions sell for very close to, and some auctions will sell at or even below a guide price. So don't automatically add your 10, 15, 20% agent tax to a price guide. It's your opinion of value that matters. So take a look at it, do your assessment online, make the decision to inspect it. Fall in love, don't fall in love, have an opinion. Do your due diligence, be prepared, compete transparently, compete unconditionally, knowing that if you can do that with an owner who's prepared to sell and has set a deadline, they're motivated to sell. This process is good for everyone. But if you do have any questions in relation to auction, the process, the potential strategies that have been implemented and have worked, reach out. I love auction. This video is way too long, and there will be a slideshow that goes up alongside it. But if you've got any questions, I will talk about it forever. Anything that gives you the confidence to bid is a service for me as an auctioneer and a service to this industry, which I love with an absolute passion. I'd love to help you out. 0499 083 427 is my number. I'll drop my contact details below. If you've watched all this video, congratulations. Most of my auctions are about this length.